In the small restaurant where I worked part-time, I witnessed the end of a bet. The delicate girl's face was streaked with tears as she kept pleading with the boy beside her, but the handsome boy barely spared her a glance. I turned my head, not intending to get involved. But the next moment, a new bet caught my attention. How about we make another bet? What about Cheng Xiaoxiao from Class 5, Grade 11? My heart started pounding wildly. Until that cold-faced boy suddenly smiled like a devil whispering, "All right." I quickly ran to the kitchen, peeling potatoes, a faint, almost unnoticed smile curling at my lips. "Xiao. See you tomorrow." I watched Li Xingyu run off and smiled softly. "See you tomorrow. My name is Cheng Xiaoxiao, an ordinary high school student. I have good grades, few friends, and like many others, live a dull yet fulfilling high school life. The only extra thing is that after school, I work part-time at a small restaurant near the school." The restaurant was bustling again this evening. Wearing a white mask and plastic gloves, dressed in my school uniform short-sleeve shirt with an apron over it, my long ponytail tied up in a bun, I sat on a small stool near the kitchen, peeling potatoes.
"Xiaoqing, come help!"
Aunt Lin called, carrying several plates as she flashed through the kitchen door. I put down the potato and knife, took off my gloves, and stepped out of the kitchen. My eyes scanned the room. There were especially many customers today. At a glance, I saw a group of unusual guests. Carrying 2 bowls of noodles, I walked past a table full of students in school uniforms. A quick look revealed someone who really shouldn't be in a place like this. I slipped silently past them, busy serving dishes around. Once most dishes were served, I wiped my sweat and leaned against the checkout counter. A commotion came from the students' table. I grabbed a bottle of water again and casually glanced toward their table. There were 5 people, 4 boys and 1 girl. One sat by the aisle, the others sat facing each other in pairs. The boys all wore either brand new sneakers, expensive watches, or both. The girl, however, wore nothing valuable from head to toe. The most handsome boy sat beside the only girl, and she was trembling, probably crying. But no one showed any sympathy. The handsome boy silently sipped water while the other 3 showed unfriendly smiles like spectators enjoying the show. The girl carefully reached out and lightly tugged the boy's sleeve. He didn't spare her a glance, swiftly pulled his arm away, and moved away with disgust. The girl's shoulders shook even more, but the tissues were far from her. No one handed her one, so she covered her face with both hands and cried. Aren't you going to comfort her?" One boy across from the handsome boy smirked cruelly. "After all, you've been chasing her for a whole week." Chengyu didn't even raise his eyelashes and coldly replied, "Why, feel sorry for her." The boy hurriedly waved his hands.
"I wouldn't dare!"
Meanwhile, the girl lifted her tear-streaked eyes and reached out again. "Chengyu, Chengyu's cold gaze shot at her hand, warning. "Don't touch me, it's disgusting." The boy by the aisle tried to please him. "Don't be mad, you. She's just a cheap catch after a week. Don't let her ruin your mood." The previously quiet boy asked curiously. "So, there's someone else?" "This time, this one is the hardest of the hard. Could there really be someone you can't chase?" The boy shook his head, twirling a finger. "This one might actually be different." "Funny." Chengyu pointed at him with a smile. "Then who is it?" Chengyu, now slightly interested, crossed his arms lazily. "Who is it?" "Cheng Xiaoxiao, the ice queen of Class 5, Grade 11. "Whoa. You little rascal, how did I forget this character?" Chengyu curled his lips in a faint smile. "All right, how long?" "Longer this time, about 2 months." Chengyu sneered with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "At most 1 month. I don't have that much time to waste on her." The other 2 boys clapped in unison.
"Still nothing's impossible for him."
In just a few words, these boys had already decided on the next
victim.
In front of the current one. Chengyu lightly left $500 and a single sentence, then strode away with his followers. "Remember, don't get involved." I quietly watched the whole scene, put down the water bottle, silently returned to the kitchen, sat back on the small stool, and resumed peeling potatoes. Yu Qingyu, the notorious figure of 8th high school, comes from a prominent family and looks outstanding. But we usually had no contact. I am in Class 5, Humanities, he's in Class 1, Science. I'm a quiet good girl, he's a known arrogant playboy. Turning courting girls into a bet has happened more than once with him, yet some people always think they can be the one to save him. The girl outside was just like that. Honestly, I didn't want such a conspicuous person to disrupt my peaceful life, but I couldn't help wanting to see what kind of show he would put on. Just a tiny bit curious. The next day, as soon as I stepped into campus, I knew the bet had begun. From time to time, classmates whispered and glanced at me, their eyes were a mix of envy, pity, and mostly anticipation for the drama. Sure enough, the moment I entered the classroom, a few large words on the blackboard suddenly caught my eye.
Cheng Xiaoxiao, I like you.
Below was a signature, Yu Qingyu. I quietly stared at the blackboard drama, feeling the weight of everyone's gaze behind me. The class monitor in the front row called my name softly and whispered, "Xiao, what's going on?" I shrugged.
Probably someone's prank.
I thought Yu Qingyu's prank would be bolder at the start, like switching my science and humanities classes. With that thought, I ignored everyone's stares and confidently walked to my seat to put down my bag. Coincidentally, I was on duty today. Usually, I might not even care about this kind of thing. I walked to the podium, grabbed the chalkboard eraser, and slowly wiped the words off. Then I used a cloth to make the board spotless again. The moment Li Xinyue came in, she ran straight to me.
Xiao, I heard something. Yu Qingyu confessed to you?
I squeezed water from a towel near the basin and pointed at the blackboard.
You mean that prank?
I just erased it.
What? You erased it?
Li Xinyue froze.
It's my duty day, so if I don't erase it, the teacher will scold me.
That makes sense. Li Xinyue nodded and quickly asked, "Does the handwriting look like Yu Qingyu's?" I wrung the towel and lazily tossed it back on the podium.
How would I know what his handwriting looks like?
I went back to my seat to dry my hands with a tissue, and Li Xinyue followed closely behind.
Hey, haven't you seen his perfect math test paper? The model one? Oh, that one's his.
Then I threw the tissue into the trash bag hanging by my desk.
But it's all numbers and letters, not chalkboard writing.
Li Xinyue leaned against my desk, looking troubled.
Did you take a photo? You always carry your phone.
I suddenly realized, then sighed. But I don't have the habit of taking pictures.
Why are you like this?
Li Xinyue put her hands on her head, utterly helpless. No translatable content in line 82.
Why are you so interested in whether it's Yu Qingyu?
I looked at her. Do you know him? No, but he's a big deal, and so handsome. Li Xinyue's sincere eyes reflected my face. If he really likes you, that would be amazing. He's rich and good-looking, perfect for a beauty like you. I looked at her quietly for a moment, shrugged, and said,
Maybe it's just some prank by someone else. I don't even know him.
Li Xinyue sighed deeply. I guess that makes sense. Xinyue. From the other side of the classroom, Meng Yu waved toward us.
I took a photo, come take a look.
Hearing that, Li Xinyue hurried over in quick strides and joined a group of girls gathered around Meng Yu looking at her phone. Li Xinyue is lively and cheerful, with a cute appearance. She's the life of the class and popular both in and out of school, able to get along with all kinds of boys and girls. But when introducing me to others, she always says I'm her best friend. According to her, I'm stunningly beautiful but have a cold, aloof vibe, the exact type she likes. But I've never heard her say what kind of boys she prefers. After a moment, Li Xinyue rushed back to me, still carrying her backpack without putting it down. Her eyes brightened, very excited.
The handwriting really is Yu Qingyu's. Is that so? What do you plan to do in response?
Li Xinyue spread her hands and counted off her fingers. Agree right away or wait and see? Either way, you can't hesitate. What if someone else beats you to him? I dug out my morning reading book and first period textbook from the desk and replied.
I don't like him. If someone else gets him, that's fine by me.
Li Xinyue slammed the desk, unable to contain herself.
He's Yu Qingyu, the son of the richest man in town. This kind of chance doesn't come twice. How could the son of the richest family possibly be interested in someone like me?
I sighed helplessly.
If it's not going anywhere, why bother starting?
Li Xinyue froze at my words. The clock struck 7, and the homeroom teacher walked into the classroom with a handbag. The class monitor promptly stood and said, "Get out your morning reading books, stand up, it's time for morning reading." I stood and looked at Li Xinyue. "You better go put your backpack down." She hurried back to her seat, put down her bag, and started looking for her reading book. "Morning." A familiar voice came from behind me. I turned to see Su Qingyue, sweating profusely, carrying her bag slung over one shoulder. Sweat had dampened her parted bangs, and her hair stuck to her forehead. "Morning," I said and quickly stepped aside to let her in. Watching her rummage frantically through the messy bag, I said lightly,
Sneaking in over the wall again today?
"Of course. Almost got caught by security too." Su Qingyue grinned proudly.
But sis is fast. I ran like I had a motor, zoom. He probably didn't even see my shadow.
I opened my morning reading book to today's page and chuckled. "But they installed cameras along the wall now." Su Qingyue's eyes widened as she held her worn-out book.
When did they install those?
"Last weekend." I helped her turn to the page. "I saw it while working part-time."
Then I'm doomed.
Su Qingyue threw her head back and shouted.
It should be fine. The strict dean is at another school for training this half-month, so they probably won't check.
Su Qingyue exhaled deeply and gave me a big thumbs up.
You're the best, sis. Hearing that puts me at ease.
As the first period Chinese class ended, the Chinese teacher stepped out carrying a thermos. Instantly, a group of boys and girls crowded around me.
Xiao, is it true? Did Yu Qingyu really confess to you?
Listening to the noisy chatter around me, I couldn't help but think how obsessed high schoolers are with gossip nowadays. I looked at them and gave a helpless smile.
It's just a prank. I don't even know him.
The chatter woke Su Qingyue, who had been dozing nearby, rubbing her eyes. Half awake and confused, she asked,
What are you guys talking about?
Piece by piece, she pieced together what was going on from the conversation. I gave her a helpless smile in her direction and blinked a few times in our usual secret way. She immediately understood, waved her hand, and said,
All right, just a prank. I remember Yu Qingyu has a girlfriend, the school sweetheart from class 3. What's her name? Oh right, Xiao Yunhe. They're probably still in love, so there's no way he'd confess to Xiao.
After she said this, the classmates quieted down, probably thinking she made sense, and went back to their seats to do their own things. Yu Qingyu didn't show up for 3 days straight. The news spread widely, but there was no rumor about Yu Qingyu breaking up with Xiao Yunhe, and since he didn't make any statements, people gradually stopped believing it. During those days, I sometimes caught Xiao Yunhe glancing at me from outside the classroom or frequently looking my way while doing gymnastics on the field. I just pretended not to see. Are they patient? I don't know. But I am. The first class on Friday was English, boring enough to put you to sleep. The crisp bell ringing after class broke the drowsy atmosphere. The English teacher called. Li Xinyue, class rep, did you collect all the homework? Come with me to the office. Li Xinyue replied and carried a stack of notebooks by the window, following the teacher out of the classroom. Shortly after, an unexpected visitor entered the room. The moment Yu Qingyu walked in, most students' eyes turned toward him. After 3 days of rumors spreading since Tuesday morning, almost the whole grade had heard about it. Soon, many students gathered outside, watching the drama unfold. But I didn't glance at him, burying my head in my math workbook. Yu Qingyu scanned the classroom and finally fixed his gaze on me. Then, a pair of expensive sneakers stopped right in front of me, casting a shadow over my desk. I paused my writing, sensing something, and looked up confusedly. As soon as I looked up, my eyes met a pair filled with warmth and a smile. Pure, bright, like a clear pool of water. I gave a timely expression of surprise, and Yu Qingyu's smile grew even wider. Honestly, his appearance is top-notch: fair skin, clear bright eyes, a straight nose, flawless eyebrows, and face shape. Too bad his lips are as thin as his heart. Hi, nice to meet you. Unexpectedly, he reached out his hand with a shy smile. He actually looked a bit like a well-behaved student. But before I could respond, hushed whispers started around us. I could roughly guess what they were saying after all. Confessing to someone you don't know is pretty ridiculous, even for a spoiled rich kid like him. I cautiously glanced at his hand but didn't reach out, only said calmly,
Hello. May I ask what this is about?
I just wanted to apologize for what happened Monday morning. He looked apologetic, his voice soft enough to drip water.
I heard about it this morning. It was a prank by my friends. I hope it didn't cause you trouble.
I looked at him with a neutral expression. Then he bowed to me. I'm sorry. Then he took a small box from his coat pocket, opened it in front of everyone, revealing a finely crafted amethyst bracelet. Please accept this as an apology gift. The surrounding chatter grew louder. No one expected Yu Qingyu to be so generous with just an apology. Sorry, I can't accept this. Maybe expecting my answer, he quickly explained. I actually heard about it Monday but wasn't sure how to apologize. Yesterday, I went to a charity auction, saw this bracelet, and heard you like purple, so I bought it to give you as an apology. His few words sounded full of sincere regret, almost adding a hint of something else. Listening, my expression softened, a faint smile playing on my lips.
I can't accept it either. After all, it was your friend's prank, not your fault. You're a victim too, aren't you?
This little act didn't last long. Before the next class bell rang, Yu Qingyu left the classroom and I didn't take his gift. But before he left, he asked, "Can we be friends?" I agreed. As the second period ended, Li Xinyu rushed to my desk.
When I came back from class, I saw Yu Qingyu in the hallway. Did he come to find you?
Yeah, I said, seeing the excitement sparkling in her eyes. He said it was a joke by his friends and came to apologize.
Just an apology? Not exactly. He also brought an amethyst bracelet as a gift, but I didn't accept it.
Li Xinyu murmured thoughtfully. An amethyst bracelet. What's wrong? Nothing. Li Xinyu smiled.
Xiaoxiao, you like purple the most, right?
Could he have other intentions?
Other intentions? You mean he's after something from me?
I frowned and thought seriously.
No way. He's so rich and powerful, there's nothing he can't get. Could I be some lost heiress from a wealthy family?
Li Xinyu coughed twice, interrupting my fantasy.
I'm not talking about that kind of intention, more like feelings.
I instantly deflated and shrugged.
No way. He's a rich kid who's seen every type of girl. Why would he have feelings for someone like me? Why not?
Li Xinyu leaned over my desk.
Think about it, don't rich guys in novels always like obedient girls? It's totally normal for Yu Qingyu to like you.
I still wouldn't buy it.
You said it yourself, that's fiction. It wouldn't happen in real life.
Who would have thought that the just friends thing Yu Qingyu said that day was actually serious? But this friendship was far from normal. In high school, girls who are close usually stick together going to and from school, eating together, even going to the bathroom together. I stood at the girls' bathroom door, turned around, and looked at Yu Qingyu's innocent-looking face.
Honestly, I think friends should have some boundaries.
Yu Qingyu blinked his beautiful phoenix eyes and smiled.
But you and your friends don't seem like that.
I rubbed my forehead and laughed lightly.
Could it be that I'm the same gender as them?
He slightly turned aside, leaning against the tiled wall of the hallway, folding his hands, his features like a painting. Then I'll wait for you here. That kid, he really plans to come in? I nodded and rolled my eyes so hard I couldn't help it as I turned back. Went to the bathroom, flushed, and washed my hands all in one go. As I walked out, I saw a familiar figure in front of me. Xiao Yunhe wore that oversized, faded school jacket, her dry hair was tied casually with a thin band, falling over her slender, pale neck. A glance revealed her worn-down look, her skinny body clearly malnourished, patched-up uniform, and only a single white sneaker with leftover stickers on its edge. But the person she was pressed against looked completely different, full of nobility. Xiao Yunhe was babbling softly but urgently about something. I listened for a while but caught only a few words. Yu Qingyu didn't share my curiosity, his hands in his pockets, looking elsewhere casually, ignoring her and not responding. I wasn't sure if he didn't hear or simply didn't care. Since I couldn't hear their gossip clearly, I stopped listening altogether. Seeing that they hadn't noticed me, I turned around and went back into the restroom, planning to stay a bit longer. Yu Qingyu's attitude toward Xiao Yunhe was pure disregard, like she was Heir. But a few days ago, actually last week, it wasn't like that. Back then, Yu Qingyu had just won Xiao Yunhe's heart and doted on her, delivering meals to the classroom in the morning, walking her home at night, always the first to bring her what she needed, even expensive phones and tablets worth thousands. During PE in class 3, he skipped class to stay with her. This spoiled rich kid even made a bracelet overnight to give to his sweetheart. Yu Qingyu quit smoking just to please her, not touching his usual cigarettes. Xiao Yunhe was so moved she cried, holding him during half of the PE class. I was sitting by the window, watching them quietly. My first reaction: ridiculous. All these trivial things were staged as proof of deep love? Bringing food made by the family maid, walking home together, spending a bit on a glass bead bracelet, those could make someone emotional? Unsurprisingly, after a week of chasing her and just a week of dating, Yu Qingyu kicked her out without hesitation. To others, he was just tired of her. But to me, Yu Qingyu never took her seriously. That Monday night's conversation proved I was right. Yu Qingyu is the type who treats relationships like a game.
Cheng Xiaoxiao?
A medium-toned male voice came from outside the bathroom. I snapped out of my thoughts and stepped out. Seeing me, Yu Qingyu's previously tense expression softened as he smiled. I thought you'd run away. Nope. I met his gaze. Just an upset stomach. Yu Qingyu raised his brows and tried to reach out to touch my hair but stopped halfway. His worried eyes said, "How are you feeling? Need me to buy you some medicine?" I shook my head decisively. No, I'm fine now.
Then let's go to the cafeteria. They have your favorite mapo tofu today.
I nodded, replying, "Let's go." You recommend spicy food when my stomach just upset. What a way to stab me in the back.
Don't you usually eat with your friends?
Yeah. I led the way. Seats are first come, first served. You'll see when you get there. Yu Qingyu followed behind me, non-stop chatting like words spilling out like beads. He quieted down only after we entered the cafeteria. We walked in together, drawing some whispers around us. I glanced at him and asked, "Aren't you going to eat with your friends?" The unspoken question, "Why are you still here?" But I couldn't say that, I was playing the obedient good girl now.
Aren't you my friend?
He blinked his innocent big eyes, sincere in his tone. So annoying. Soon, I spotted Li Xinyu waving persistently, with Mengyu sitting next to her. I walked over. No sooner had I sat down than Yu Qingyu casually took the seat beside me. Anyone who didn't know might think I was his girlfriend now. Li Xinyu's gaze flicked between us before nervously asking, "So, what's your relationship now?" "Friends. I'm chasing her." I looked at Yu Qingyu's smiling face and frowned.
Didn't you just say I'm your friend?
Can't friends pursue each other? I smiled back at his confidence. But I only like pure friendship. So you've never dated anyone? Yu Qingyu rested his head on his hand, eyes gentle. No. I stood to get my tray and food. Yu Qingyu followed me up, persistent as ever.
Why not? You're so beautiful, surely many have chased you.
They're all friends. I ignored him, walking to the food area. Turning slightly, I said, "Besides, liking someone shouldn't just be because they're pretty, right?" Behind me, Yu Qingyu chuckled softly. Then he leaned in slightly and whispered in a voice only we could hear. "Cheng Xiaoxiao, I fell for you at first sight, but now I want to be your friend first and get to know you slowly from the beginning." Yu Qingyu's success with all kinds of girls must be due to his excellent adaptability. When courting Xiao Yunhe, he said, "At first, I didn't pay much attention to you, but your resilience really attracted me. I know you're a kind and innocent girl, and I hope you'll let me protect you in the future." When pursuing the social butterfly senior, he said, "You're sunny and outgoing. Seeing you makes me happy. But I feel beneath that lively exterior is a delicate heart. I like you a lot, so I don't want you to compromise yourself for others." When chasing a rich girl, he said he could relate. When courting an animal lover, he said he had a kind heart. To girls who care about looks, he has natural advantages. To those who value lifestyle, he is generous and lavish. To those seeking emotional connection, he knows how to use sincerity, psychology, charm, and action to unlock their hearts. During courtship, he's the perfect soulmate. After establishing a relationship, he becomes the most impatient hunter. Compared to him, I have more patience. 1 month isn't enough, he'll need more time to complete my bet. That same night I unexpectedly overheard Yu Qingyu and his friend's bet. Yan Yueqi messaged me. "Did you know? Yu Qingyu from your school bet he'd chase you." I leaned against my bed and typed, "I know. The deadline's 1 month." After a few seconds of typing, a new message popped up. "How did you know? Someone must have spilled faster than me." "No, I just happened to overhear." "What a coincidence. Should we turn the tables?" "How so?" Yan Yueqi sent a simple smile emoji and added, "Let's also bet that he has to chase you for 6 months. What's the reward?" "A sea-view apartment in Sanya, over 2,000 square feet." "Sounds a bit unfair." After a pause, he added, "Plus that antique you liked before." "I'll give that too." I replied decisively, "Deal. Don't forget, you have to give me something if you lose the bet." "What do you want?" He sent a facepalm laugh emoji and said, "3 wishes. You're greedier than me." I thought for a moment and replied, 2. This time he replied quickly, "Deal." Before me, Yu Qingyu had never chased anyone for more than 3 months. 6 months was far too long a campaign for him. There were girls who never agreed to date Yu Qingyu but happily accepted his gifts. After a month and a half, Yu Qingyu gave up, and those girls turned around, being affectionate with him. Yu Qingyu's answer was simple. "I don't think we're a good fit." The girl's excuse was, "I just wanted to test you more." I wasn't very clear about what happened afterward. I was busy at the time and didn't remember the gossip that Li Xinyue was always going on about. Besides that, there was another girl who truly frustrated Yu Qingyu. For 3 months, Yu Qingyu tried every trick in the book, but in the end, he only got a sincere compliment. "If you became an actor, you could make a lot of money." At the time, she was the center of school gossip. She was Li Xinyue's cousin, Li Mingru, who had graduated not long ago. Eventually, Yu Qingyu continued to look for his next prey, not taking Li Mingru to heart at all. Li Mingru faced a lot of questions and difficulties because of his pursuit, but she still got excellent grades and was admitted to a top-tier university. The two of them were like unexpectedly crossing parallel lines. They were the same kind of person but with different pursuits. Yu Qingyu pursued a life of games and never took anything seriously. Li Mingru pursued self-improvement and ignored others' opinions. They both had strong self-control and clever minds, but they used them differently, so their lives were destined to be different. Li Xinyue was Li Mingru's cousin, but she was completely different. She loved gossip, loved public opinion, and even loved the people at the center of public opinion. I didn't know if Li Xinyue was helping with the bet, but I did know that the person who suggested I let Yu Qingyu chase me was Li Xinyue's friend. Although she might not be the game's mastermind, she must be its driving force. Encouraging me to accept his confession, praising Yu Qingyu's good points in front of me, and every action she took was not something a friend would do, knowing that Yu Qingyu was a lying heartbreaker. Li Xinyue was genuinely impressed by my beauty, but she was falsely treating me as a friend. It was false that Li Xinyue encouraged me to be with Yu Qingyu, it was true that she wanted me to be a pawn in the bet. The untried and the unattained are far more attractive than what you've already gotten. Li Xinyue wanted to use this bet to remove me from Yu Qingyu's future list of long-term lovers. She didn't have to worry about me getting in the way of her pursuit of love, but since she brought me into the game, I didn't mind bringing her in as well. Who will be out first? Stay tuned, Xinyue. For half a month, Yu Qingyu and I maintained a friendship that was sometimes close and sometimes distant. I knew he was in a hurry, so I asked Su Qingyue to invite me and Yu Qingyu to a group trip to the beach during next month's short break. I refused because of a lack of spending money, but I managed to express that I wanted to go. Yu Qingyu quickly picked up on my idea and suggested that friends help each other. He would pay for my travel expenses, and I would help him see the scenery. I sincerely refused him, and he persistently insisted. I didn't decline for long before agreeing, and I also asked him if he wanted to travel with us. Yu Qingyu looked embarrassed. Is it okay for us to travel together? I looked at him and laughed. Why are you being so serious? It's not just the two of us. It's a group trip with both boys and girls. Why did you invite me? Aren't you my friend? It's normal for friends to go on vacation together. Then I shrugged. Besides, you've lent me money to help me go on the trip, so isn't it only right that I invite you? He agreed without asking anything more. He might have his own plans, willing to stretch things out a bit for them. I had my own plans, too. For example, seeing the Seaview apartment I'd get in 5.5 months. Besides Su Qingyue and Yu Qingyu, everyone who went on the trip had been my friend for more than 3 years. Su Qingyue didn't understand why I let Yu Qingyu pay for my expenses but covered hers, but she said she respected and supported my decision. I asked her to come and watch a show, and I also suggested that she bring someone she knew with her, and I would cover the costs for them as well. But she shook her head and said, "What if the friend I bring messes up your plans? I'm not an actor, I'm just watching the show. Having you is enough." Okay. I thought for a moment and said, "Those guys aren't easy to get along with, so it's best not to get too close." I'll say it again, you're enough for me. Su Qingyue handed me a soft candy that tasted like orange soda. I looked at her in confusion and watched her smile softly. Yu Qingyu's game is too boring, and I don't want you to lose anything in it. In a few days, Su Qingyue, who usually had trouble memorizing ancient poems, memorized the names, ages, appearances, zodiac signs, and interests of the people who were going on the trip. Although she didn't need to do anything, she was the organizer of the trip, so my friends needed to become her friends. On the day of the trip, Su Qingyue met those friends for the first time and was talking with them fluently while holding my hand. I didn't expect her to do this. Maybe she had her own purpose in this show. On the plane, she and Yu Qingyu sat on either side of me. Yu Qingyu kindly asked for a neck pillow and snacks. I took them all, wore the neck pillow, gave some of the snacks to Su Qingyue, and Su Qingyue shared the snacks with the other friends. When Su Qingyue fell asleep, Yu Qingyu whispered in my ear, "Xiaoxiao, do you know all her friends?" I shook my head, I don't. There are so many boys. Aren't you afraid it's not safe? I was a little worried at first. I whispered in his ear. But aren't you here now? Yu Qingyu smiled, pleased. Including him, there were only 3 boys, Yan Yueqi, who made the bet with me, and my cousin Yu Pan from my aunt's side. The reasons these 2 came were like a rehearsed script. I was afraid that kid would really do something to you. Actually, I wasn't worried about that at all, because the girls besides Su Qingyue and me all had real skills. Other people's children learned taekwondo and self-defense from a young age. My best friend Guan Yuan learned Muay Thai from a young age. Shan Mai and Shan Xiao came from a Sanda family. My brother and Yan Yueqi's natural advantages as men were insignificant compared to these three. But only if they came with the parents be at ease. They were my parents' special reassurance pills. As soon as we got off the plane, Yupan offered to help me with my luggage. He was tall and had a good figure. Compared to Yan Yueqi, he could better arouse Yu Qingyu's competitive spirit as a man. Sure enough, when Yu Qingyu saw him get close to me and pushed him away with my luggage, his face darkened. He came up to take my suitcase but was interrupted by Yupan. "Are you Xiaoxiao's boyfriend?" "Of course," he was about to affirm when he met my disapproving eyes. Yupan asked, "What did you say?" "I'm not," he said through gritted teeth. Yupan looked him up and down and said, "Then what are you going to carry with those skinny arms and legs?" "Just carry your own." "But..." Before he could say anything, Yupan turned away from him and smiled at me instead. "Xiaoxiao, that dress really suits you. You look so pretty." I smiled brightly. "Really? Thank you for the compliment. Your outfit looks great too." "Haha, Qingyue told me that there would be a beauty when she asked me to come." Yupan scratched his hair and said, "I didn't expect it to be such a beautiful girl as Xiaoxiao." Yu Qingyu wanted to take my arm but I dodged it slightly. Yupan and I walked away side by side, and Yu Qingyu had no choice but to follow behind us with a dark face. The three girls walked beside Su Qingyue, chatting and laughing. Only Yan Yueqi, dressed in bright colors, patted him on the shoulder. "Dude, are you gay? What did you say?" Yu Qingyu's face was even more displeased, and he looked like he was about to roll up his sleeves and punch him. Yan Yueqi comforted him in a timely manner. "Don't get excited, don't get excited. I think you look good and you're pleasing to my eyes. Do you want to add me as a friend?" I came with Xiaoxiao. "Eh?" Yan Yueqi shook his finger and said with his hands on his hips. "I heard it just now. You're not her boyfriend, and it's obvious that you're not the type that girl likes." Yu Qingyu was silent for a while after hearing this. Yan Yueqi suddenly approached him, holding up a QR code and smiling. "So, why not consider me? I don't mind if we're both the same type, I can be either. Get out." I walked in front and listened to everything that was happening, applauding Yan Yueqi in my heart. Yan Yueqi's persona and lines were all added by himself. I was worried that it would scare Yu Qingyu away, but I didn't expect the effect to be pretty good. Yu Qingyu got closer and closer to me, as if to prove that he wasn't gay. He didn't get my luggage at the airport, but he was quick to grab the room next to mine at the hotel. But I was in a double bedroom with Su Qingyue, so my next door room was also a double bedroom. When choosing a roommate, Yu Qingyu didn't hesitate to choose Yupan, who at least looked very straight. Yupan didn't have any objections. Yan Yueqi was afraid that he would regret it and went up to disgust him a few times. "Qingyu, why don't you stay in a room with me? I'm not used to being in a room by myself." In order to maintain his persona, Yu Qingyu smiled and refused. "Sorry." To prevent Yan Yueqi from barging in again, Yu Qingyu turned and walked up the stairs, with Yupan following behind. Seeing him jog up, Yupan gave Yan Yueqi a thumbs up. The rest of us took the elevator up and happened to see them enter their room. This was all part of the plan to build Yupan's persona. Today was a rest day in preparation for the official vacation starting tomorrow morning. After dinner at the hotel, I wore pajamas and sat in the rocking chair in my room, reading the script I had typed in a Word document. Tonight, Yupan would be voice chatting and gaming with his sister-in-law, signaling to Yu Qingyu, "I'm just a scumbag who's never satisfied." Yu Qingyu's character was questionable, but surely he wouldn't mind tarnishing Yupan's image in my eyes. The setbacks he faced today would weaken his interest tomorrow. His dwindling conscience didn't matter, what mattered was making him feel he could regain control over the relationship. A slap followed by a sweet carrot. An old trick, but it always works. Yu Qingyu can't endure prolonged rejection, nor does he like things that come easily. I just need to prolong his desire to win and make him doubt his own feelings. Sometimes, people mistake their competitive spirit for love, and I just need to extend the time his desire lasts. I want him to know he isn't impossible to win over, he isn't being toyed with but is simply a guarded person afraid of betrayal, genuinely searching for Love. Easier said than done. Especially with someone who treats acting as life's pleasure and routine. Getting him to perform in my directed drama requires his full consent. As I pondered my plan, my phone vibrated. Lighting up the screen, a message from Yu Qingyu appeared. He's really impatient. Yu Qingyu. Want to go for a walk? I have something to tell you. Me. Sure. In the group chat for
Drama Squad.
I sent the day's first message.
He came to take me out for a walk.
The group quickly replied in unison.
Got it.
I fixed my hair, then put on a jacket from the hanger and turned to leave. Outside, I saw Yu Qingyu leaning against the wall in the hallway waiting for me. He wore the same clothes from earlier, his hair slightly messy, slippers on his feet, looking gentler and homelier. I could guess his purpose, to appear more approachable and sincere, and to show his urgency. Like saying, "See? I'm so worried about you avoiding scumbags that I don't care about appearances. Let's go." His expression was serious, but his tone remained gentle. I nodded a little confused and followed him outside. In the elevator, he stood with one hand in his pocket, silently thinking. Outside, we strolled along the street. Yu Qingyu smiled warmly and asked, "Is there anything you want to eat?" I shook my head. "No, I don't eat after dinner." "All right." He nodded. "I have something to tell you, but I'm not sure if I should." I looked at him silently as he continued, "But I think you should know about it. Yupan, who's rooming with me, I really think you should keep your distance from him." My brow furrowed slightly.
Did something happen? I don't know much about him, but trust me, he's not a good person for you.
His eyes were sincere, a trace of worry between his brows. Was he waiting for me to doubt and investigate Yupan? I didn't answer, and for the rest of the walk, our chat was casual and sporadic. Back at the hotel, just before parting, Yu Qingyu lowered his head and quietly asked, "Xiao, want to watch the sunrise together tomorrow morning? I heard the sunrise here is beautiful." "Sure." When we arrived at the beach, the sky was a deep navy blue, like a huge velvet curtain draped over the ocean. A thin mist hovered over the horizon, drifting like fine silk. I took off my slippers and stepped barefoot onto the fine sand. The sea was exceptionally calm, the breeze was cool, and the waves softly lapped the shore in a soothing rhythm. Many people were already on the beach, all gazing at the horizon. I closed my eyes, stretched out my hands, and breathed in the faintly salty sea air, feeling refreshed and peaceful. Yu Qingyu's gentle voice came from beside me. "Look, the sun is about to rise." I opened my eyes. A pale white glow appeared on the horizon, spreading like ink diffusing in water. Then a faint red hue emerged. As the sun slowly rose, the sky brightened and the clouds were painted with brilliant colors. It was my first time watching a sunrise by the sea, and I couldn't look away. When the sun fully appeared, I excitedly turned to him. "You!" "Yes?" Yu Qingyu held a camera about 2 meters behind me, taking pictures of me and the sky. Sunlight bathed him, his naturally fair skin glowed softly, his black hair ruffled by the wind, his beautiful phoenix eyes smiling, and his light jacket fluttered. He radiated the fresh aura of youth. I had to admit, Yu Qingyu was 1 in a million in looks. I was momentarily stunned by him. But only briefly, the cool sea breeze brought me back. I tucked the windblown hair behind my ear and smiled sweetly at him. "It's my first time seeing a sunrise at sea. It's really beautiful." "Thank you, Yu Qingyu." His hand holding the camera trembled slightly before he put it back in his bag and stepped to within half a meter of me. "It's my honor to watch the sunrise with you. What's next on your agenda?" I linked my arm through his and pulled him forward. "You came to watch the sunrise with me, so breakfast is on me." Yu Qingyu turned with my pull and smiled. "Then I won't refuse." We walked together toward the seaside restaurant. I asked him, "What do you want to eat?" "A bagel with hot chocolate." "I'll have a croissant then." At the restaurant, Yu Qingyu ate a sesame bagel while reading a magazine bought at a newsstand. I was bored, cutting my bread and staring out the window. Suddenly, something outside caught my eye, and I waved excitedly in front of Cheng. When he looked up, I was eagerly staring out. "After we eat, let's go play over there." By the time the others arrived at the beach, Cheng and I were already drenched in sweat. Cheng swung his badminton racket and skillfully returned a tricky shot. I jumped and hit the shuttlecock back. I rarely played badminton with such good rallies and forgot the appointed time. When we finished playing, the others were already at the beach chairs drinking coconuts. Wiping sweat with a towel as I walked over, Yupan came to me with a bottle of water. "Drink some. You've been sweating a lot." Seeing Yupan, Cheng hurried toward us. Yan Yueqi swiftly grabbed a water bottle and slid to him. "Cheng, you want some water?" Cheng, savvy now, quickly took the water from him, bypassed him, and came to me. He opened the bottle cap, took away the water Yupan gave me, and handed me the opened bottle with one hand. "Drink up. Playing badminton is tiring, right?" I gulped down a big mouthful and laughed. "Not really. I haven't had this much fun playing in a while." "Me too. I didn't expect you to be so good at badminton." Cheng opened his bottle and took a few sips, then asked, "Want to join a club competition sometime?" I used to participate in these competitions often in my previous city and happily said, "Really? Of course, I want to." A friend of mine owns a club. Their prizes and reputation are pretty good. I'll tell you when the next event is." I nodded and followed him back to the chairs to rest. Guan Yuan reclined on a chair, wearing sunglasses and fanning herself. "Take a break, you two. The sightseeing boat will come soon." I reached out. "Is there a small fan?" Guan Yuan lowered her sunglasses to reveal half an eye and laughed. "Girl, you seem so cold and aloof, but you're actually pretty approachable. Don't judge a book by its cover." I smiled and took the blue small fan she handed me, thanking her. Cheng sat on the chair beside me, watching us. I turned my head and put the fan on the small table in front of him, smiling at his puzzled look. "Look, your skin is already sunburned. Cool down properly. Aren't you hot?" "I'm fine." I pointed to the big sunshade above. "This is enough for me." Turning back and closing my eyes to rest, I could still feel Cheng's gaze. About 20 minutes later, several sightseeing boats appeared on the vast sea. The boats had sleek lines and white hulls that gleamed in the sun, like something out of a fairy tale. After docking by the shore, we all walked toward one of the boats. The huge hull floated steadily, giving a reassuring and reliable feeling. Boarding the sightseeing boat, the spacious deck caught my eye. The wooden floor carried a faint ocean scent, making me feel the sea's pulse beneath my feet. I walked to the railing and looked far into the distance, the endless blue ocean stretching to the horizon, blending with the blue sky and white clouds. Once everyone was aboard, the boat slowly moved forward. The sea breeze gently brushed our faces, bringing salty air and the sounds of the ocean. White waves rolled along the boat's side, and seagulls flew and circled above the water. Cheng half leaned on the railing and said, "I feel like you really love the sea. I think you really like looking at me." I smiled helplessly. After a brief pause at his surprised look, I added, "No joke, I grew up in a landlocked city with no sea nearby. My parents were busy and rarely took me to see the ocean. In elementary school, I painted the sea orange, seabirds in all kinds of colors, and beaches full of coconuts." Cheng looked toward the horizon. "Then what happened?" "My teacher used my painting as an excellent example." I said lightly, arm resting on the railing. "She said my imagination was great, the sea shining with sunlight, coconuts covering the sand, things few would paint. She thought my imagination was a gift. But she didn't know I'd never seen the sea. The sea in my mind was like the sunset's afterglow spilling over the blue ocean, turning it a warm, brilliant orange. That's what I read in a book, so I painted the sea orange. I thought seagulls were as colorful as parrots, so I painted them after the parrots at home. And I thought coconuts were the symbol of the beach, so I painted them everywhere but didn't paint a single coconut tree." For some reason, I suddenly felt a bit embarrassed and lowered my head to cover my face. I've kept this secret in my heart and never told anyone. I think Guan Yuan was right, you're not what you seem on the outside. Yu Qingyu pulled out a sun umbrella from who knows where, opened it, and wrapped us both inside. You're pretty cute. I looked up at him sideways. His eyes were gentle, and his tone sincere. If there's anywhere you want to visit in the future, I can go with you. We walked side by side into the boat, which was fully equipped with comfortable seats and a spacious lounge area. Further ahead was a small restaurant offering various seafood and specialty snacks that looked incredibly appetizing. The others were eating in the restaurant, and when Su Qingyu saw me, she waved us over. After Yu Qingyu and I bought what we wanted to eat, we sat down at an empty spot at the table. Yu Pan paused peeling shrimp and placed a plate of shrimp meat in front of me. Qingyu said you like shrimp, so I peeled some to make it easier for you. Everyone else glanced over. I noticed Guan Yuan trying hard not to burst out laughing, almost spitting crab leg meat out of her mouth. I nodded and smiled. Thank you for the trouble. Hearing this, Yu Pan shot a challenging look at Yu Qingyu, then raised his eyebrows slightly and sat back down. Yu Qingyu was allergic to shrimp, so there wasn't a single shrimp on his plate. He stood silently and walked around once. Just when I thought he was in a bad mood, he returned carrying a plate of shrimp.
Aren't you allergic?
I blurted out. You know me pretty well. Yu Qingyu smiled as he pulled out a chair and sat down. I realized my mistake but knew explaining would only cause suspicion, so I said nothing more. He turned to face me with a faint smile. I'm happy you know about my shrimp allergy. Then why did you take so many? To peel for you. Isn't that okay? Behind me, I heard Shan Qiu sucking in a breath. Yu Qingyu didn't hear it and focused on peeling shrimp by himself. He first pulled off the shrimp's head, then peeled off the third segment of the shell near the head, and gently pulled the tail to easily remove the rest. He peeled them so skillfully you wouldn't believe he didn't eat shrimp. Maybe out of sympathy, I was forced to accept 3 plates of peeled shrimp, one peeled by Yu Pan, the other 2 by Yu Qingyu. If I hadn't said in time, I'm full, I felt like he could peel all the shrimp in the restaurant. I looked at him straight-faced. Why are you so good at peeling shrimp? My mom liked eating shrimp, so I used to peel them for her. Oh. I nodded in understanding. Yu Qingyu continued. But she's not around anymore, so I won't have a chance to peel shrimp for her again. I was momentarily stunned, unsure how to comfort him. He looked at me as if reading my mind and said, No need to comfort me. I'm fine. How did you know I wanted to comfort you? Your expression looked like you wanted to. He turned back, folding his hands on the table beside a pile of shrimp shells. Honestly, I was very sad about her death before, but now, thinking about it, I feel nothing. I didn't understand why he shared about his deceased relative with someone he had just met, but I listened seriously. She didn't like me because I was the product of a family alliance. My existence completely severed any chance she had with her former lover. I was close to her at birth, but she disliked me and left me to the servants. I didn't realize her hatred and kept crawling to her until she lost control and tried to kill me. As she wished, we no longer had to meet, because my father feared she might accidentally kill me. He moved me to another villa with new servants. He leaned back in his chair, tilting his head up. When I was young, I thought my father was stopping me from seeing her. I caused many scenes, but to no avail. Until I overheard 2 servants talking and realized it wasn't my father, but she who never wanted to see me. Only when I was 9 did things change. That year, her first love started a family, and she was willing to return to her own family. It was a hardship for her but a long-awaited return of maternal love for me. A faint smile curved his lips. She no longer hated me but treated me like a normal child, taking me to amusement parks and museums. Life was so good, I never expected the storm after the Kanshi committed suicide by jumping into a river for love. His smile vanished, leaving only helplessness and coldness. That man died in a plane accident on a business trip. His last message to her was, "Next life, we'll be together." So she left everything behind and went to find their next life in the river. He turned to me. So I've been thinking, is the love they held on to really so important that it's worth abandoning everything, even life? Yu Qingyu's tone was serious, as if asking a heartfelt question. For some, love is very important, more than life itself. I answered. Of course, that some doesn't include you or me. I never experienced hardships like Yu Qingyu's growing up. My family was harmonious, but they were so busy that I felt surrounded by loneliness. I've seen therapists and taken many medications. I wanted to regain my hope for familial love to find a way through life. But I couldn't find that path with my parents. I found it among a group of friends. I have to admit, my friends are somewhat peculiar, but they're irreplaceable to me. During this game, they all held back their tempers. Otherwise, Yu Qingyu would have had to face things he never wanted to remember. Guan Yuan injured a boy who spread rumors with Muay Thai and was labeled a violent girl. When pressured by the school, she fought back fiercely. Luckily, her family was influential, and her education was unaffected. The incident taught her to act decisively and know when to advance or retreat, making her life smoother. Shan Mai and Shan Qiu were simpler. They had trained martial arts since childhood, cold and somewhat obsessive. Yan Yueqi's case was more complicated. Neglected from childhood, he became someone who spoke lies to everyone and was never accepted. At school, he was betrayed by close friends and his first love, leaving him completely broken. So he started wrapping lies within lies, forming a chain. His popularity increased, but his temper worsened. Lies became routine, hiding the truth inside. But he didn't intend this. I believed his lies and kept them secret. Because of this accident, we gradually became close from childhood acquaintances and developed a sense of mutual understanding. We were sincere to each other but acted however with others. Come to think of it, Yan Yueqi is somewhat like my life mentor. Yu Pan, my cousin, has no real story, spoiled, lovesick, and the warm guy image in this game is only a tenth of how serious he is with his sister-in-law. Watching the sunset on the sightseeing boat is also a breathtaking view. Following staff introductions, we all boarded the deck. At that moment, the golden sunset cast a shimmering glow on the rippling river. On the sightseeing boat's deck, people quietly gazed at the slowly setting sun. The clouds were dyed a vibrant orange-red like a giant oil painting. The sun's rays were soft and warm, as if draping the world in golden silk. The golden silk draped me, Yu Qingyu, and everyone else. Yu Qingyu took out his camera again, and I also took mine to capture the scene. The sun slowly approached the horizon like an aging elder filled with endless longing. Its color shifted continually until the sun's edge touched the horizon, leaving only a brilliant afterglow. As darkness fell, the boat returned to shore, and we disembarked, walking back together. At the hotel, I first went to the bathroom to shower off the sand and sweat. After showering, I dried my hair while walking out and told Su Qingyue. I'm done. The water will be warm in 10 minutes. Su Qingyue nodded, holding her phone. I sat on the sofa and checked my phone for messages. Yu Qingyu had sent 2 private photos. Opening them, I saw a photo of my silhouette during the sunrise. Swiping, the second photo showed my back while taking pictures under the sunset. Yu Qingyu had a talent for photography. These photos felt more like oil paintings than pictures. In them, I seemed to be the protagonist, with the sunrise and sunset as my backdrop. These 2 photos are for you. The rest, I'll keep myself. I hung the towel around my neck and typed. Any more? Of course. Every moment of you is beautiful. I took so many. These 2 are the best. I put down my phone and returned to the bathroom to dry my hair with a hairdryer. The warm air from the dryer reddened the skin on my neck. Later, in the trip group chat, Guan Yuan forwarded an event page titled Ocean Rhythm Dance, Bonfire Passion Music Bonfire Party Invitation. Guan Yuan. There's a bonfire party tomorrow night. Let's all go. Yan Yueqi. I haven't been. What should I prepare? Guan Yuan. Bring your brain and your voice. Shan Mai. Can I sing happy birthday? Guan Yuan. Do you think that's appropriate, girl? Shan Qiu. Don't mind her. My sister sings that song off-key everywhere she goes. Sean Mai. I recently learned a song called Selling Newspapers. Yen Yuechi. Why didn't you learn Twinkle Twinkle Little Star? Yu Pan. I can sing love songs. All the hot ones. Yen Yuechi.
Showing off again, and you, what can you sing? How about a love duet with me?
Yen Yuechi knows how to roast everyone. But Yu Qingyu ignored him, and that annoying message quickly got pushed down. I enjoyed silently observing the lively group chat when suddenly Yu Qingyu sent me a private message. Yu Qingyu.
Xiao, what song do you want to sing?
I thought for a moment and replied. Hero's song or Friends would be fine. I could sing love songs too, but who goes solo singing at a bonfire party? Isn't it usually a professional band? But I didn't expect to speak too soon. Night fell, stars twinkled, and the bonfire party arrived as promised. A blazing bonfire broke the silence of darkness, its flickering flames like dancing spirits. The waves crashed against the shore, blending with the band's singing and the audience's chorus. The sea breeze blew, carrying a salty scent. Rows of spectators gathered, feeling the sea breeze and romantic songs. At this moment, no one was lonely, the warmth of the fire spread into every heart. After the band finished, it was time for the love song duet segment. Volunteers could step up or the host could select randomly. After two couples volunteered and finished their songs, the host suddenly turned his gaze to me and Yu Qingyu beside me. My intuition told me this was not good. But the next second, the host's voice came through the microphone, and the cameras focused on us. These handsome guys and beautiful ladies, anyone interested in performing a song on stage? Yu Qingyu naturally nodded and stood up. I had no choice but to steel myself and stand, saying, Okay. Come pick a song. Yu Qingyu looked at me and lightly smiled. How about Friends? No. I laughed, shaking my head. Crystal, is that okay? Of course. Then he went up on the stage, and I followed closely behind. I took the microphone from the stand, he did the same. Amid the crowd's cheers, we averted our eyes briefly as the intro slowly played. I closed my eyes, recalling the melody and lyrics in my mind. Your eyes write poems. Sometimes wild, sometimes mysterious. I looked at Yu Qingyu, listening to his voice, different from usual. Following your moods and whims. Though my steps are erratic, my heart is willing. Yu Qingyu looked over and gave me an encouraging smile. His eyes sparkled like stars, full of gentleness. I withdrew my gaze and continued singing. Loving someone often requires caution. As if holding crystal in our hands. Oh, loving someone brings colorful feelings. Seeing the world as if through crystal. Our love is like crystal. Free of burden, secret, clean, and transparent. The love I give you is beautiful crystal. Unique brilliance reflected in our eyes. In our eyes. When the song ended, applause and cheers erupted both on stage and off. We bowed together to the audience and then left the stage. Guan Yuan approached, looking confused. Do you both have two vocal cords? How come your singing and speaking voices are completely different? I smiled helplessly. Maybe a bit of a mix while singing. Possibly influenced by the atmosphere. When we sat down, Yu Qingyu asked me, What flowers do you like? I smiled at him. I don't like flowers, I prefer succulents. He hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Several more couples sang after, and near the end, the host suddenly called Yen Yuechi and Cheng Xiaoxiao, who was sitting beside him. Cheng Xiaoxiao grabbed Yu Pan in front of her and said, Go sing with Yen Yuechi. Yu Pan looked at Guan Yuan, who clenched her fists. Then, before everyone's eyes, Yen Yuechi and Yu Pan walked on stage. Yu Pan asked Yen Yuechi, What do you want to sing? Yen Yuechi thought for a moment and replied, Parental love, let's sing that. This trip was so wonderful it no longer felt just like a game. We had breakfast together, sunbathed, strolled by the sea, collected shells, flew kites, and had barbecues and picnics. Actually, in the script, Shanmai was assigned to seduce Yu Qingyu, but because Shan Xiao clung too much to his sister, Shanmai found it hard to act coquettishly towards Shan Xiao. I prioritized personal wish, so that storyline was removed. But during the barbecue picnic at dusk, two girls in bikinis came to our barbecue stand, each asking Yu Pan and Yu Qingyu for contact info. Yu Pan naturally didn't give hers. Yu Qingyu didn't hesitate and showed his QR code. After they added each other, they chatted happily about something, laughing a lot. Meanwhile, Guan Yuan, Yan Yuechi, and I busied ourselves at the barbecue. Guan Yuan brushed sauce, Yan Yuechi grilled. Guan Yuan looked at me, then at Yu Qingyu's back, and quietly reminded me. Xiao, always remember, don't take the game seriously. Hearing this, Yan Yuechi rolled his eyes at Yu Qingyu's back and said, Xiao, I saw you having fun these 2 days and didn't tell you. Actually, Yu Qingyu added Shan Xiao, Shan Mai, and Guan Yuan as friends. Although he doesn't say much, he's been liking many moments on their social circles. He's certain you're not close to us, so you can't spill secrets. Otherwise, why wouldn't he add Su Qingyue? Suddenly, Su Qingyue walked to my side with a serious expression.
Xiao, I think there's something I need to tell you.
I put down my things and followed Su Qingyue to a quieter dining table. We sat down together. Su Qingyue crossed her hands on the table, looking a bit nervous. Xiao, I think we're true friends, so I want to tell you about my past. Once, I had a very good friend, our mothers were best friends, so I always considered her my best friend. But because my mother's work, I moved, so in middle school we weren't in the same city. At first, we chatted daily on the phone and stayed close until she met Yu Qingyu. Su Qingyue, usually playful, had a cold look and icy voice. Yu Qingyu is a man who loves to play with others' feelings and is very good at ruining relationships. I don't even know what he did, but he made my friend devoted to him, and I don't know what he said to make her delete my contact info. I only told her once, there are many liars in the world, don't trust people easily. After that, I became the liar in her eyes who tried to steal Yu Qingyu. Hearing her bitter laugh, I softly asked, what happened next? Not long after, she was dumped by Yu Qingyu and never recovered. She said he broke up because your friend didn't support us. She shrugged helplessly, smiling bitterly. I don't know what she was thinking. Anyway, we completely lost contact. I have to say, Yu Qingyu's tactics are remarkable. Even now, she still dreams of getting back with him. Hearing this, I felt uneasy but didn't know what to make of it. Su Qingyue looked at me and said softly, Xiao, you're not like her. You're smart and kind. You can't go down the same path. I lost a friend because of Yu Qingyu. I don't want to lose another. When Su Qingyue and I returned to the gathering place, Yu Qingyu and the girls who asked for his WeChat were gone. They left together. Yan Yuechi said, placing the grilled skewers on my plate. I put my phone on the table and smiled. It's better he's not here. Let's study the next scenes in the script. Yu Qingyu returned to the hotel late at night. Yu Pan was under the covers and messaged me. I saw it only the next morning and yawned while stretching. The return flight this afternoon would depart on time. He had already had his taste of winning and fun, now it was time for losing. I ignored all Yu Qingyu's messages all day, waking only to go to the Seaview apartment in Yan Yuechi's bet, where I ate, drank, and rested. When it was time to leave for the airport, he and Yu Pan were the last to depart. From waiting for the plane, boarding, to getting off, he never saw me once. In fact, he only saw Yan Yuechi and Yu Pan all day. By the time I returned home that night, his unread messages had reached 99+, but I had muted notifications and never opened any. Entering the courtyard, the butler took my luggage first. Miss, the matriarch has been waiting for you for a long time. Inside the villa, a servant helped the grandmother with a cane greet me warmly.
My Xiao, how was the trip?
Pretty good. I took a lot of photos. Let's look at them together, Grandma. I had lived with my parents in the capital before moving to Yen City a year ago to live with my grandmother. My family's wealth could rival Yu Qingyu's. Working part-time was just to keep busy. I wasn't like some who spend their parents' money lavishly. The money from my parents could fund 10 trips like this for several people. After washing my hands, I opened the chat with Yu Qingyu, transferred the travel expenses he paid, then blocked and deleted him. The trip was good, I'd keep it as a memory. Leaving the bathroom, I put my phone on the dresser and muted it. Then I took my camera, sat beside my grandmother, and began flipping through the photos of the past few days. There were sunrises, sunsets, bonfires, and starry skies. There were me, Yen Yueqi, Guan Yuan, Su Qingyue, Yu Pan, Shan Mai, and Shan Xiu, but no Yu Qingyu. I deleted his photos, after all, we'd never be friends. After returning to school, Yu Qingyu looked for me many times, but I avoided him, stayed away, and chatted happily with others. He tried to explain what he did that night. But I didn't care because his words were lies to me. At some point, succulents appeared on my desk in various colors: pink, light green, dark green. I took the note from underneath and threw it away, taking the succulents home. One day after school, I didn't work or go home but went with Su Qingyue to my
secret base.
a long-neglected little garden. I knew Yu Qingyu was following us, and Su Qingyue noticed him too, but we pretended not to see and walked in side by side. At a flower bed, I crouched and called to my little friend.
Hua hua, hua hua.
Soon, a plump cow-patterned cat dashed out and jumped into my arms. A few other cats emerged from the bushes, rubbing against our feet. Su Qingyue looked at Hua Hua in my arms and then at the other cats, asking, "Is it the only one with a name? What about the others?" I took out premium cat food and held it near Hua Hua's mouth. It ate greedily as I smiled. "Yes, only this one has a name." Su Qingyue also took out some cat snacks and carefully fed the tabby near her feet, asking, "Why is that?" "Because it's the only one close to me. It won't eat food from anyone else."
Really?
Su Qingyue's eyes widened as she offered another snack to Hua Hua, but the cat turned away.
Stray cats can recognize their owners?
Maybe they recognize their servants. I petted its little head, smiling. "Anyway, it only likes me, and I only like it. No one else matters." "Then why don't you take it home?" "This is its home. Although it likes me, it has other family members now, house cats, so it can't abandon them just for me." I pressed my nose against Hua Hua's nose. It didn't fuss at all and was very obedient. "So adorable, Hua Hua, you will always be the cutest cat in my heart." Nearby, the sound of leaves brushing against fabric came. The cats grew alert, but I pretended not to hear and continued holding the cat in my arms. Soon footsteps sounded and gradually faded away. Unexpectedly, Yu Qingyu still hadn't given up, already 3 months past the agreed time. But there were still 2 months left in my bet. During this time, Li Xinyue had urged me countless times, but I always shook my head gently. She was too impatient, which irritated me a little. Su Qingyue and I talked about Li Xinyue in an empty classroom beside the route Yu Qingyu took daily to get water. Through the glass window, seeing Yu Qingyu approaching, we sat down at a table by the door. Su Qingyue looked nervous as she stared toward the classroom door.
Xiao Xiao, why do you think Li Xingyue cares so much about Yu Qingyu?
I was more relaxed. She likes Yu Qingyu, it's obvious. Then you and Yu Qingyu. Footsteps paused outside the classroom. I don't fight over the person my friends like. Besides, as Li Xinyue said, Yu Qingyu isn't very faithful. I don't dare to provoke him. The footsteps resumed, gradually fading away. Su Qingyue asked quietly, "Do you think this will work?" I whispered back, "I'm gambling, one who deceives others can't trust others." As expected, things went as I wished. The next day, I found Li Xinyue crying with her head on the desk. I went to comfort her, although she already had a sycophant, Meng Yu, beside her. I crouched down, worried.
Xinyue, what's wrong?
Her voice was muffled, but she forced herself to lift her head. "Nothing, just tired from studying and a bit out of control lately." She was still holding on. It seemed Yu Qingyu hadn't mentioned me. "Take it slow, don't rush." Before I finished, an unfamiliar boy rushed in and stood beside us. I stood and looked at him. He looked at my face, startled for a moment, then nervously opened his eyes. I remembered he was one of the boys who bet with you, Qingyu. That confirmed my guess was right.
You're Xingyue's friend, right? Comfort her quickly, she's been crying for a long time.
Saying that, I moved aside. The boy awkwardly crouched next to Li Xingyue, whispering,
Don't be so sad. He was just angry. You've known him so long, he can't have no feelings at all.
Hearing what she wanted, I stepped back and sat. Su Qingyue looked at me and wrote on her scrap paper.
Isn't this guy one of Yu Qingyu's accomplices you mentioned?
I casually picked up a pen and wrote beneath her words. Yes. I don't know if Yu Qingyu and Li Xinyu were reconciled, but I knew Yu Qingyu felt he had removed an obstacle and his pursuit of me became more obvious. Xiaoxiao, I know your concerns, but you don't have to worry in the future. He was still sincere and maintained an appropriate distance. I know I was an asshole before, but I won't be anymore. Absolutely not. I gave him a blank look. More than 5.5 months had passed, 14 days remained. I stopped and said plainly, I'll give you an answer in 2 weeks.
Okay.
He agreed instantly, his eyes brightened. I smiled faintly at him. Yu Qingyu was momentarily stunned for some reason. I kept my promise. I stopped avoiding him and responded kindly to his goodwill but refused expensive gifts or money transfers. I wasn't concerned about the money. Compared to that, I now enjoyed this game with a countdown. I started giving Yu Qingyu gifts in return: a camera pendant, a fan like mine, and matching keychains. Although I only brought these when I met him and never looked at them otherwise, Yu Qingyu clearly became somewhat addicted to them and hardly let go of what I gave him. One day, when I went to find Yu Qingyu in his classroom, I unexpectedly bumped into the boy who comforted Li Xingyue. He looked angry, and his gaze toward me was unfriendly. He didn't say anything but stormed past me, muttering,
If you can't handle it, don't play.
When I entered the classroom, the atmosphere around Yu Qingyu was tense. Everyone spoke much quieter than usual. I understood what was happening but pretended not to know and carefully walked up to Yu Qingyu. Tilting my head, I looked at him with concern. What's wrong? You don't seem very happy. Yu Qingyu saw me, quickly stood, and nervously asked,
Xiao, did you find out something? Find out what?
I looked confused. He sighed in relief and grabbed my wrist, pulling me outside the classroom. By the corridor window, he held my wrist seriously. Xiao, no matter what others say from now on, don't believe them. Believe me, don't believe anyone else. I nodded in confusion and replied gently. I know, Yu Qingyu, I won't believe others. But Yu Qingyu, I don't trust you either. On the deadline day, Yan Yueqi mailed me the keys to the apartment. The antique he sent was delivered to my grandmother's house. Looking at the valuable piece, my grandmother asked, Xiao, where did this come from?
Grandma, it's a prize from a game.
I twirled the keys in my hand and smiled brightly.
Such a valuable prize.
Grandma recognized it as a genuine auction piece worth tens of millions. Not bad. Grandma didn't ask more about its origin but changed the topic. Xiao, when will you be back home? Next week, to prepare for studying abroad. I approached her and held her wrinkled hands. Grandma, even if I study abroad, I will visit you often. Grandma squeezed my hands and smiled. Good, Xiao. Grandma will always miss you. Call me when you miss me, I'll always pick up if I'm free. While packing, my phone popped up with a message from Yu Qingyu. Xiao, there's a badminton competition at the club next week. Want to come? I glanced and replied, No, thanks. Then shall we go to the library together next week? I looked at his message calmly. Goodbye, Yu Qingyu. The game is over.
What game? The game of chasing people is over. Don't bother me again.
We'll never meet again.
Did someone tell you something?
I looked at his messages but didn't reply, just blocked and deleted him again, including his phone number, as before. Only this time, I blocked another person, Li Xingyue. The game was over, and so was the fake friendship. When I returned to the capital to prepare for studying abroad, Su Qingyue told me Yu Qingyu kept looking for me, sometimes asking her about my whereabouts. I messaged her, just tell him about the trip. And tell him I'm tired of this game. A few days later, an unknown number from Yen City called my phone. I answered and waited for the other side to speak. As expected, it was Yu Qingyu's voice. Xiao, I'm done playing. I won't play anymore. Please forgive me. I smiled and said, Isn't this Yu Xiao? How come the bet got extended again? Xiao. The bet was my fault, but I've cut ties with them. Let's start over, Xiao. I looked at the number, feeling puzzled. How can someone get so caught up in playing a role? Putting the phone to my ear, I replied. Yu Xiao, no need. Just live your own life. I won't give up, Cheng Xiaoxiao. I know you're lying to me too. Can't we just call it even? No way. I smiled and said. I said I'm tired of it. Then I hung up and blocked him again. After that, I didn't answer any unknown calls from Yen City. 3 years later, after finishing my studies abroad, I returned, dusty and weary, to the capital. The family business was stable, and my parents and some friends came to pick me up at the airport. We talked a lot on the way back. When we got home and got into the car, Guan Yuan and I sat together in the back seat of my family's car. She leaned close to my ear and whispered, Did you know? Yu Qingyu is currently studying management at his family's branch in the capital, and he'll be attending the party you're going to in a few days. I nodded calmly. Of course I know, Yan Yuechi has already told me. Guan Yuan looked worried.
Won't it be awkward when you meet this time?
It's fine. I glanced at the pocket watch on my wrist and checked the time before adding. We're all heirs to future companies now, maybe we'll cooperate someday. You're really carefree, Yu Qingyu might not be as easygoing as you. Guan Yuan put her hands on her head, leaned back in her seat, and sighed. He's been looking for you for 3 years without dating anyone else. I don't know how you managed to hold on to that monster. What monster? Dad, who was driving in the front, asked. Since when did my daughter become a monster hunter? Guan Yuan suddenly realized she'd spoken too loudly, sat upright, and laughed. It's just a game, a game. A few days later, I accepted an invitation to a party. Shortly after walking with Guan Yuan, I ran into Yu Qingyu, whom I hadn't seen for a long time. He looked at me, his expression uncertain whether happy or surprised. Guan Yuan tried to pull me away, but I naturally stepped forward and extended my hand. Hello, President Yu. I'm Cheng Xiaoxiao, daughter of the chairman of Cheng Group. He looked at me and cautiously raised his hand to shake mine gently. Hello, I'm Yu Qingyu. President Yu, you're quite famous in our circles. It's an honor to meet you. I smiled, but Yu Qingyu's expression didn't look very natural.
Xiao.
Xiao. Yu Pan approached wearing a suit, with his wife linked on his arm. I greeted them. Cousin, sister-in-law. Yu Qingyu's gaze shifted between us before Yu Pan nudged him aside. President Yu, Xiao just returned, and her family is eager to see her. Excuse us. Hearing this, I gave Yu Qingyu a helpless smile. Excuse us, President Yu. I followed Yu Pan and the others away, leaving Yu Qingyu standing alone. I could tell what he thought of me now, but I only wanted to be his business partner, nothing more. Halfway through the cocktail party, Yan Yuechi invited me to a quieter spot for a short break. Standing by the window, he said bluntly. I think our bet back then was too conservative. I crossed my arms on the balcony railing, gazing at the starry, peaceful night sky. How so? We should have bet whether he'd still miss you after your 3 years abroad. I felt nothing and replied lightly. Too late. Not too late. You can still bet on it. A familiar voice came from behind not far away. Turning around, I saw Yu Qingyu with a solemn, almost sorrowful expression, but still forced a casual smile.
How about betting on whether, 3 years from now, I'll still miss you, right, Cheng Xiaoxiao?
I looked at him silently and shook my head. I have no interest now. Don't reject me so quickly, Miss Cheng. Yu Qingyu stepped closer and spread his hands. I bet you on a plot of land I recently grabbed, how about that? As I lowered my eyes to think, he added. Aren't you interested in the tourism industry? That plot is perfect. He was right, I was quite interested in that plot. But I still shook my head. President Yu, I think cooperation would benefit us both more directly. Yu Qingyu looked incredulous. You don't trust me? Afraid I'll back out?
President Yu, it's not about trust.
I crossed my arms, eyes fixed on him. We're businessmen. Maximizing profits is what matters to us, not chasing the love that grows from a bet.
It's already been peeled, you've seen its falseness with your own eyes.
I raised my left hand seriously.
Don't be stubborn, Yu Qingyu. You're making me doubt your professionalism as a businessman.
Yu Qingyu lowered his head, voice heavy. I agree to cooperate. My assistant will send you the contract. Saying that, he turned and left, and this place returned to how it was before he came. Throughout the conversation, Yan Yueqi stood sideways, one hand on the balcony railing, saying, I don't think he'll give up. Whether he gives up or not doesn't matter. I turned back to face the night sky. Honestly, maybe I got too deep into the role back then. Even after all these years, I still hold doubts about Yu Qingyu's expressions and words. I subconsciously think his words are carefully crafted, and his expressions mask his harsh heart. I can't trust him fully, even if his feelings are real. Yan Yueqi looked at me worriedly.
So, are you still working with him?
His company's business and financial power are unmatched. I have no reason not to cooperate. I raised my hand and touched the clean, transparent window. It looked like there was glass, but it felt like air. The barrier has appeared and is unbreakable. Mutual forgetting is the best ending for us. Around the corner, Yu Qingyu's clenched hands hung by his sides, his body trembling slightly. After a while, he silently left.